Well, I feel like I was in the beginning of a James Bond movie where they actually start the movie before they actually show the credits. So here we go. Welcome to the January W7PRA meeting. I'm Paul N0VLR, chair of the board. Let's start with some introductions. Looks like we got some phone number dial-ins too. So Anthony?
Anthony, KE7OSN, member at large on sitting somewhere outside of downtown Staten.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Ted, sharp and snappy dresser.
I'm Ted, W7RTM, secretary, and just outside of Philomath on Highway 34.
Okay. Paul, down in Roseburg.
Paul, W7PEB, the southern contingent.
And I understand you're having much milder weather than we are up here in the central Willamette Valley.
We call it the banana belt. You know, it's up to 37 degrees.
All right, great. Well, start those tomato plants. All right, very good. Thank you. Thanks for keeping it light, everybody, by the way. Anna, you're next.
I'm Annalise, NH6Z, and I am in Lebanon, Oregon.
All right. Ron, our illustrious webmaster.
Ron, Post, AE4JL in the big town of Millersburg.
All right. Larry.
Larry, AF7NU in Northeast Corvallis.
All right, Corvallis represent. Mike.
W7RIS in the about 10 miles north of Corvallis, where we got lots of ice and lots of snow still hanging around there.
I hear you, and I second that motion. Terry, welcome.
KJ7 KUI Northeast Corvallis.
Nice, glad to have you here tonight. Mr. Andy down in Philomath, I suspect.
Yeah, Andy, AA7AV southwest of Ted.
All right. Al, whose dinner we're interrupting. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll turn myself down here a little bit. Al, WB7RAV. I'm up in Tualatin tonight at my son's place, so we're doing a little babysitting and things like that. So I'll be listening.
Nice. Thanks for joining us, Al. Good to see you. There's someone on a dial-in, last number 1130. You want to chime in?
Yeah, hi, 1130 here. This is Brian, new member, K0OLB. I'm down here in Southern Oregon in Merlin, where today was almost 60 degrees today and sunny like yesterday, and hard to believe that it's cold, it's snowy just a little ways north of us. Sorry to hear that up there. It doesn't sound too nice.
Oh, excellent. Thanks for chiming in, Brian, and welcome. Where did you say you're coming in from?
Merlin, Oregon, just outside of Grants Pass.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I was writing it down just to kind of check the weather, because we're hoping that stuff will push north. We think that there will be some moving trends.
I hope so for you guys. It was a nice couple days.
Right. And is it Oscar Lima Bravo or Oscar Lima Delta? Oh, I see you put it on your icon. Okay, excellent. Welcome. All right. So we've got, let's do the secretary's report. Mr. Ted?
Well, I was a little late sending out the minutes this month, but I sent them out Sunday. So hopefully everybody had a time to review them. If there's any additions, deletions, modifications, just let me know and I will make them and we'll call it good. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Now, underneath Secretary's report, we're going to do bylaws, but I think we're going to go through the rest of the agenda and then come back, okay? Because that's really underneath that umbrella for everybody's benefit. Treasurer's report. Looks like Andy was not able to make it. Let me see if I can bring up the email. So, 7 Peak Radio. I will Let's see if I can share my screen, screen 2. So instead of me reading it all, I'll just thought I'd put it on the screen. We've got OSU checking, savings, and then the total is here. There's a couple of nominal little charges. I'm sorry, not charges, additions, but with a total of 4192 represented by Andy as of 1/12/2024. Does anybody have any comments or questions? Andy did not provide any expenses recently in his email, so I'm anticipating the fact that there may not have been any expenses recently. Okay. Hey, I found the stop share button first time. All right, I got a button. Okay. Let's see here. Website. Ron, if you could report on the website what it is that you might need or any updates, that would be great.
Anybody got pictures for me, from like the Christmas party or something I can post? I would create a photos page. Do have the bylaws out there. There was something geez, it just slipped my mind. I seen there was something else I was thinking of putting out there too, but yeah, looks like it's up and running just fine.
Okay, great. In the last email that I wrote about the bylaws, yeah, there was a suggested item to add to the website. You might want to take a look at. You'll see your name highlighted, and it's a suggestion to improve clarity. That's all.
I must have missed that, or it's what I'm forgetting about. One or the other.
That's okay. Do appreciate what you're doing there, Ron. And again, if anybody has any content for Ron, please send it to him at the webmaster email address that's on the website would be ideal. Mike, I've got an old item here. I don't know if you have any updates. I thought I'd ask you sort of, but do we have any updates from Michelle on anything from the KE7ZKH estate, or should we just put that up for another time?
Right now we have, I think the next big auction is in February sometime. Is that correct? So I need to inform her of the upcoming date, and then we need to go. I need to organize a group to go over there and finish up doing any other inventory. I think most of the stuff. Yeah, and I think most of it's pretty well inventoried. There's some more things that need to get torn apart, but I just haven't had the bandwidth to do anything else with her. But that's the next thing on my task list.
Okay, great. Does anybody happen to, from my own personal reasons, does anybody have any idea when that date is for the next SWAT meet? Isn't that the Salem one as opposed to Salem Group?
It's the Salem Ham Fair. You should have a website.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
it's the I want to say it's the 17th of February.
That's what I remember.
Okay. All right, well, if somebody can check while we're doing other things, we'll be efficient. Just put it in the chat window if you have a link or something.
It
That'll
is the
help,
17th.
Okay.
It is
So-
the 17th.
Yeah, so we need to be probably this meeting here talking about putting money aside for the Rick Riel.
Since it's okay, does anybody want to get an idea of how many tables we need, and we can come back to this topic during this meeting? Is that efficient, Mike, or do you want to make a proposal?
I think probably we need probably 2 tables. We still have enough to fill that. I'm hoping this time around more people within the club, if they have other things that need to be sold, that they can pitch their stuff out there on the table. Yeah, I had stuff I wanted to get rid of, but the tables were already too jammed to even think about adding anything more to it. There was no table space.
No, no, there wasn't.
So I would recommend 2 tables.
Okay. Does anybody know the general cost of that? I don't have, I'm, oh, it looks like Anna looks like put out a,
So it's $18 per table for non-powered and $21 for powered.
does anybody need power? We had it last time. I think we used it once or twice, but I don't know if there's any, anybody want to make a motion?
I'd say non-powered. I don't think that we really need the power. So 2 tables.
Okay, Mike's putting out there for 2 tables for primarily for Bill's material, but whenever there's extra space, we can put some smaller items from any of the club members. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Did I step on somebody? I apologize. Does anybody second Mike's motion?
I'll second.
Any all in favor or
Aye.
Aye.
any opposed? More importantly, any opposed? Where's Jim when you need him? Okay.
Do we have a
I'd say
board
that the
quorum?
motion-
I think we do. All right.
Yep. All right, great. We'll go ahead and do that. Mike, did you want to put it in your name this time, or did you want somebody else to help out with this?
I can go ahead and I'll take notes and make that happen.
Okay, thanks. And I'm sure Michelle and her family appreciate whatever we do to support this as well. So thank you. The next up is a repeater report. I don't have a lot here. I think the last time we met, we talked about the new Glass Butte repeater. Again, if you go to w7pre.com, you'll see all the listed repeaters. It is a toned repeater. And it's halfway between Bend and Burns on Highway 20. So feel free to take a look at that. And it's a good fill-in repeater when you're in between both those locations, which can get really out in the dingles pretty quickly. So you can always check the Facebook repeater page as well and sign up for that if you'd like. The only upcoming event that I have listed here is there's 2 actually. Single sideband North America QSO party, which is this weekend. I put the link up there if anybody's interested. And they're doing, I just got the email like literally an hour ago saying that they're doing a test on Tuesday night if you want to join in and test out your radio and see if you get everything working. Your ice loaded antenna and see if it's working. Mike, what's the normal time that we start talking about 7QP? Is that around this time or is it next month?
Nope, it'll be February is usually about the first time around.
Awesome. Okay, great. And we'll keep it short. Does anybody have any comments, questions about any of the topics that I've covered so far before I go into the bylaw section? Okay. I'm going to bring, let's see here. Get rid of that. Let me get the, I'll share my screen in a second. You're more than welcome to open up your own copy of the bylaws if you'd like. It's on our website. It's on that that hamburger menu on the top right-hand corner. So it's peakradio.org. And you can go up and there's a drop down for bylaws. I'll try to bring it up and show it on my screen as well. As soon as I did not get this completely ready in time. Okay. Let's try share. Where's my screen share? Screen 2. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
The one that has bylaws? Okay. I've got 3 screens here, so I just want to make sure you guys can see the right one. Okay, so that's weird because it shows. You guys can see the bylaws. I didn't hear. Okay. All right, so here's our bylaws. As haphazard as it was, everybody had some time to take a look at these and offer some comments. Several commentaries were received. And the goal here is to just kind of walk through them, not line by line unless we need to, but to just make sure that we're okay with, you know, coming up with a draft revision. Whatever. Does anybody want me to forward this, or not forward it, but keep moving, or anybody want to suggest a particular early line, like line 4, line 12, line say 18, anything? Like, let's go to the first one that anybody has any questions about, and then we'll take a note and add to the list.
So were you able to read the email I sent today?
Oh, you sent an email today?
Yes. And it answered, first of all, let me thank Anna for her in-depth analysis. But my comment is on regular members, and yes. And replacing the regular members with requires just a current FCC amateur radio operator's license and a current club dues, and eliminating references to a written application and vote by the membership. That's my input on that. And then coupled that with section 2C, where again, just eliminating the written authorization, or what's the correct word?
Application.
Application. Thank you.
I have no real objections to that. I don't think there's a problem with not requiring a written application. I know that you had a comment on policing whether somebody has a radio license. The only real reason for that is the dual membership structure, where we have regular members and associate members don't vote. So if we're going to not require a radio license anymore, that will have to be remodeled to say that all members vote. Right.
My only question as to validating whether there was a radio license was who was going to be the sheriff if we needed to. But if you read my entire email, I kind of went over that.
Sure. And
it's really up to the individual when they apply. And then should we find out, well, he didn't have a license, then we can kick him out or let them know that they're an associate member. I don't have a problem with any of the rest of this. These two sections were the only two that I really have issues with.
I think that's a great sense of what happens, Ted. I don't think we need to be actively searching out people that don't have an FCC license unless we have reason to believe that they're not a ham for some strange reason.
And I do believe that when somebody either registers through Ham Club Online or we add them to Ham Club Online, it will flag if there's a discrepancy between their call sign and who they are. And so far that's not been an issue.
Yeah, I didn't think it
So
was a
there's
big,
some,
So for those that don't know, I will preface this by saying I drafted the bylaws originally. These are all my work. I can tell you the debates that went along with them and why things were drafted the way that they are. So I can't, at that point in time, I was a licensed attorney. The club actually paid me to do it in order to keep an arm's length transaction there. I can't do it anymore because my license is inactive, but I can certainly give you guys history and recommendations on what I think on stuff that's going into here. But yes, I drafted it, and I don't know if you guys have an original Word document. I should have a Word document of the bylaws around somewhere.
I have a copy.
Okay. Good.
excellent. Thank you, Anna. And certainly appreciate your input from the historical sense on this, and understand your boundaries this time around. Totally get it.
But I don't have Microsoft Word.
Oh, okay. I will look around. I'll make a note to look around and see if I can find my Word copy of it. That was drafted in Microsoft Word, and the club should have one so that it can be edited.
I should be able to edit it in either LibreOffice or possibly even in Google Docs.
Sounds like it's time to rewrite it in tech.
Shut up, Anthony. Really?
Wait a minute. Can we vote on this? All right. So let's do this in order to keep us moving along here. Does anybody have any questions or issues with the augmentation to section 2A or 2 Charlie?
I don't have any issues with the ideas that are in there. Depending on how it's drafted, I may have commentary after that.
Okay. And that's what this is for. We're all going to be here just putting together a draft, and then we'll send out the draft to see, well, now here's what it looks like. So this is us collecting input. And this is the section that Ted is talking about here, in here. And looks like, oh, here it is, 2C and 2A. There it is.
Oh, no,
Okay.
it's regular members 2A1.
2A1, thank you. Thank you. And then 2C, regular and associates. And no grace period for 2D members. Okay, so why don't we do this? Why don't we just softly accept this as input to the draft, and then we'll move forward. Do you have anything else in here, Ted? I apologize, I didn't get a chance to read this before.
One small
before
question. The section 6 on the 2 signatures, it says it requires 2 signatures to withdraw. And I'm pretty dang sure we require 2 signatures on the bank card, but Andy or yourself, Paul, could sign a check. So in order to
we can correct. So the treasurer, it says it right here, the treasurer can pay bills and expenses as directed by the board. Signatures from the chair and the treasurer shall be on recorded, shall be on record, and they are. We both went down to Oregon State Credit Union and provided both signatures on the same day. But it really should say either instead of both.
Right.
Well, if that's how you guys would like to do it, that wasn't the intent when it was drafted. It was designed to be a control to make sure that the treasurer doesn't spend money all by themselves and write themselves a $5,000 check to cash.
Then when did it change?
Okay.
I don't know. I remember, since I was treasurer at the time, I remember going down to the credit union and telling them that we wanted an account where both signatories would be required. What happened after I was treasurer, I can't tell you, because I was the original treasurer when these were drafted. Say, I am not saying that is, I'd like to be clear about some of my comments. I'm not necessarily saying that this is the way it should be or that this should not change. I'm saying that that was the intent, and that was why that intent was there, was to prevent a rogue treasurer or rogue chair from going down and, cashing out our bank accounts because they get angry at us. And we'd like to think that that wouldn't happen, that we would trust those people, but sometimes stuff happens.
No, it's a good topic. This is a great one to think about, because currently both Andy and I have like a stack of checks, and we use them as whoever incurs the expense. So when we go to the Rick Rial, if I can either pay them directly or I can reimburse Mike in this case, I would do that. Or if Andy was there, then he would do it. It's a duality thing, but you're right. It's a protection mechanism. I don't know how to do it without having two signatures on the check, each check. I've never done this before, so
that was the intent. There are mechanisms at the credit union where you can tell them that they require two signatures on the check, or there were. Maybe they've discontinued that, so they won't honor a check that does not have two signatures on it.
Yep. So I will say, for perspective, there's another organization that I'm a part of that their policy is the treasurer is the one that possesses the checks and writes the checks. But the chair is actually the only one that has signatory authority at the bank. So the treasurer has to write the check and then hand the check to the chair to sign it.
And that works and makes me feel more comfortable about that situation. The only caveat to that is the chair can go up to the bank and get a counter check and sign it and cash out all our stuff. So again, I want to say that I don't think Paul is going to do this. Part of my job and training as both a systems engineer and a former attorney is to think of the very worst things that can happen and make sure that we're at least okay and we understand that that's a whole, and that we go forward in that direction with our eyes open.
Yeah, because
my only point in bringing it up was it's not what we're doing. So
sure,
I think we should change how we're doing it or change the bylaws.
I agree.
Yeah, since we're not having the face-to-face meetings so frequently, it's a little more challenge to get together to get two signatures.
Okay, well, let's do this. Let's either leave it the way it is and continue what we're doing, or change the wording to be either or some other equivalent word, and go forward. And when we all see this draft, I mean, we'll have some time to think about it and go, so if you have a concern with it, we should probably come up with a potential solution that will work for the club. That's it. And whatever seems to work, that helps us pay our bills. Okay. I don't want to cut it short, but is there any other discussion at this time on this? Okay, thank you for your input. I did not take that personally, Anna. So you know, I think it's a great way to put a fuse into what we're doing here. So yeah, it's all good. And Andy's not here to defend himself, so he doesn't count.
Hey, I have a lot of sympathy for Andy. I can tell you firsthand that the treasurer's job is a hard one and takes a lot of time, and I was pretty crappy at it, so I'm glad that Andy has been able to take that over and do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
While we're looking at that, on the next section C, there's a reason it's only the treasurer must be eligible and not the treasurer and the chairperson?
No, I think that's just an oversight.
Oh, that was a problem with the treasurer had to live within the county of of the financial institution.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as long as you're, I think as long as you had one person on the account that was eligible to be a member with the OSU credit union,
Yep.
then you could sign other people on as part of the organization, but you had to have at least one person. So I
Okay.
think the designee was the treasurer.
Is that limited to the Oregon State Credit Union, or is that across the board?
Any credit union is going to have membership requirements that is required that you conform with, whether it's live in the county or live in the state or something like that. They're required to by law, otherwise they can't be a credit union.
Okay.
Banks will not have
Should
that
we
problem.
add something in here? Do we need to add something in here as to why the basis is for section Charlie? Or
No.
should we just leave it be?
No,
I think it's fine.
no, you should not be adding, you should not be adding Ys into the bylaws. That's extraneous. If you would like to annotate them and put a section at the end that says this is why, that's what you need to do. But this is legally, operative, and you don't put extra stuff like that into the legally operative part.
Okay,
One of
great,
the
thank
thing-
you.
One of the things that a lot of credit unions have done is really expanded their membership criteria.
Right.
And the Oregon State Credit Union, they may have expanded their criteria also, and
Right.
may not require
But
as
but
tight
that's also
restrictions
why
we used to have.
That's also why the provision just says the treasurer has to be eligible. So whatever those requirements are for whatever financial institution we choose, that's all it says, is the treasurer's got to be eligible, so that we don't run into the situation where we elect a treasurer that cannot be on the bank account for whatever reason. So that's the
We did
intent
once.
of that. Yeah, we did. I believe that's why we put that in there specifically.
Is
Yeah.
this why we have stickers on ladders that tell us not to go above a certain step? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So
The
I will
label-
say,
All right.
I will say that the membership requirements for Oregon State Credit Union is live or work or go to school in one of the 24 counties that they serve.
It's pretty broad now. It didn't used to be, which is part of why that was there. I think we had somebody that lived in like Lincoln County or something before they opened a branch there.
Lane,
Okay. And as a result of what Anthony just said, do we need to remove anything, or just it's fine? It just says
Yeah.
eligible, which means
Yep.
they're eligible.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Great. Good discussion. Ted, I don't want to skip anything else that you might have had in here. Do you have any other items in here that we need to discuss?
no, the rest of it was merely commentary.
Okay.
So as a general commentary, so that people can kind of understand the idea of a corporation, which is what the club is it's kind of like a mini government. You have voters, which are the members, you have the board of directors, which is the legislature, and then you have the club officers, which is the executive branch, the president and things like that. And it's intended that the membership votes for the board of directors. The board of directors makes all the decision, just like Congress would in the federal government. And then the officers, the chair and the treasurer and the secretary, are the mechanisms by which those decisions are implemented. So they pay the bills or do whatever needs to be done. So that's kind of the idea of the corporation and why things are structured this way, because it's a legal construct that we have to be in order to have an entity that's eligible to hold a bank account and all that sort of stuff from a legal perspective. I think you're muted, Paul.
Did he go answer his phone?
No, it's here. I hit a USB cable that disconnected my camera or something. I don't know. Quit fidgeting, I guess is my message. Okay. All right. Okay, Ted, did we amply cover everything that you had concerns with?
Yes,
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your input. Let's see here. The email that I had sent to the board of directors is bylaws, okay, okay. Needs changes. Anthony, and Anna, did you want to go through this one here, section 11, meetings?
That's fine. I mean, I think that what Anthony brought up, and I agree with, is that we need to broaden the definition of meetings and notice in order to include electronic stuff in them. And I don't think we want to. I think the way to go forward is not necessarily to change stuff out to be very specific, but to broaden things out so that the board and or membership vote, if we want to structure it that way, determines where the meetings are, whether those are online or, whatever notification needs to be done. We need to just include electronic notification.
Yeah, several other organizations I'm in are in the process of trying to update bylaws to accommodate some of the more recent revisions to Oregon statute about, and particularly the meeting one is one that Oregon has the good terminology about as long as the board can hear and speak to each other at the same time, that can qualify as a meeting.
Yep.
Okay. Did you have any specific change? Okay, to revise to something like this. And then Anna, did you, between the two of you, did you want to come up with a single statement that would serve as an update?
I like Anna's. It's fewer words is better.
This one right here?
Yep.
Okay. And if we were to put that, I'm going to keep it on the screen here. And let's shrink this down. That might be a little too small. Let's try this.
I think that's just an amendment of section B there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you replace the first sentence with whatever I have, and I think Anthony had a. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think I know I've got comments coming up about this right here, but I like your general statement, Anna, that we'll cover that and basically trump my specific mentions when we get to them. Okay, so I think what I'd like to do is to Ted, do you have this email? You can just say that we've accepted this particular item here from Anna and Anthony's dialogue, that this will go in section 11B.
I don't have that email.
Ah, okay. I will send it to you right now. And that way you have it. I apologize. I didn't see you not on the list.
Not a problem.
Okay. So good discussion. And did I miss anybody's comments so far before I get through? I was going to put my own last, not because they're any other reason except I thought I'd let everybody else go first.
The only one I would comment on, and I see it as a challenge that is not, it's not really policed in 11A there, line 179 or line 180. Do we achieve a simple majority for any of these meetings? I've seen
There,
clubs reword that so it actually can be, even homeowners associations reward that.
Right.
I don't have any input on this, Ron. I don't actually understand the language of simple
The-
majority.
The sketchy thing about how that's drafted is it's not clear whether it's a simple majority of the total of the membership or a simple majority of the membership present at that particular election. So that's what is the difference in those. The idea, I mean, and we don't have to have the monthly date approved by the membership at all. We can loosen that up. The idea, part of the intent of trying to make the members in control of that stuff is to make sure that you don't have secret meetings going on that certain members aren't apprised of or invited to, so that, you know, a faction of the membership can try and do business, you know, outside of the whole of the club, discriminatorily against somebody else. So those are kind of the open meetings law portions of these.
And I would say, and again, I don't have all the meetings in front of me, but I would kind of read that if at some point early on, when the membership was small, the membership said, hey, the third Monday of each month shall be the monthly meeting, that a simple majority of the total membership probably was everybody in attendance at the time.
Yes.
And nobody's bothered to want to change the date.
Yes, that's correct.
Great definitions and great background. Ron, do you have any concerns or wanting to change anything based on what you heard?
As Anna pointed out, it could be read either way.
I'm not, you know, my commentary would be, I'm not sure that if I were writing this and conceiving this originally, that I would put that provision in there pretty much at all. I might say that, you know, I might make that a board's decision, or, you know, with notification to the club, or put it in there that you know, something like membership meetings are on the third Monday of every month, except in the case that the board of directors moves it. And then if the board of directors moves it, then we post that on the website or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
I would, you know, not put that in the membership's hands in general, but that's just me. I will preface that by saying I'm not a huge fan of direct democracy, so that colors my outlook on things a little bit.
Well, I know we typically move the Christmas meeting, I believe, so.
Sure.
Or off
Yep.
sometimes.
Yeah, we moved the location, but we kept the date.
Okay.
Yep. So, Ron, and you and I shared a similar concern over this line. I had, you know, at least said, well, we can hold them virtually, and email reminders are always, you know, communicated. And I use specifically, you know, probably, you know, instead of electronic means, I went specifically to the Ham Club Online to promote the fact that everybody needs to have a profile on there with a valid email address, so that we can conduct business without doing special, you know,
My
jumping through hoops.
comments for that is I would not put virtually in there because it nails us down. You don't have to put virtually in there to have a virtual meeting. So just saying that we're going to have a meeting monthly doesn't say what methodology that we conduct that meeting with. With regards to the putting Ham Club Online in there, I'm not sure that I would be that specific. I would, you know, I would put something in there that leaves us wiggle room in case Ham Club Online decides they're going to go out of business and folds up shop tomorrow, that we have a couple different ways to let people know what meetings are and can change agilely.
A meeting reminder is sent to all active PRA members.
Yeah.
There you
That
go.
sentence simple.
There you go.
Yep. Okay. Great. Well, we'll jump down to this one. Actually, you said it pretty well. Ron, can you put it in the chat window? And then Ted, maybe you can pick it up. As according to the bylaws, the secretary will make the changes, or at least make the updates to the draft. So I'm asking Ted to kind of make these changes and put them out for a draft, or whether it's on Word or Google Drive, Google Doc, or any other means. It's fine.
I expect to. I will make these changes, create a draft, and with the changes, and submit it to the board, or you want me to for initial approval, and then we'll send it out to the membership as a whole for them to be able to sit on it for February, or wait till a February meeting.
I think I would send it to the board first, but put a string on it that if the board isn't done with it in a couple weeks, because they have lazy people that, you know, are bad at responding to emails like me, that it gets sent out anyway.
Okay.
I also might, Ron, I might make that an either or, that we leave ourselves the out of posting it on the website just in case we need it.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just saying that they would, a meeting reminder will be sent out. I wouldn't say an email, website, Ham Club Online, or any particular method.
Yeah, those were my comments, Anna. This was digging deep into my section here. I just happened to have a same line comment that Ron was mentioning, so that's why I pulled it up. Okay, great. So Ron, did you have the final wording on that section on 179, or did you?
I think I put something in the comments.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry, when I'm sharing my screen, I don't have all the chat window at my fingertips. Thank you. All right, we may skip through some of these things pretty quickly. My first question comes up with line 156, and it was more of a question, has nothing to do with it being wrong. It was just me wondering, does the club, I mean, maybe this is a bit naive and I'm showing my naivete, but does the club have any physical equipment that we manage?
Yeah, we do.
Yep.
Filters.
Filters and projectors.
Ah, yes.
And
the old projector. I forgot about that.
And not the old one. Do you remember we replaced it with a new hybrid one?
Yeah.
So the original one was given by Vaughn, which was an old clunker, but served its purpose. And then a year or so later, then we voted to take and move up to a bigger, better one. And then the intangible is that I'm also have the responsibility for maintaining the club call sign.
Right.
Yeah, that's number one, A1.
Yep. That's this one, and I didn't have any issues with that or questions. I've not really had any issues at all. It was just more like me asking a question. I've been gone for a few years, and I came back, and I just had to like reestablish my memory. There is no EEPROM programmer for that stuff.
So the other thing is that I know in other clubs, and I'm not asking for this one here, but normally there's an accounting for all the physical inventory of all the equipment and stuff, you know, done once a year or something like that.
Yep. And that's in number 4.
Oh, there it is. Yep, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Got it.
Yep. Yep.
And I think the intent and tradition is that's done at the yearly meeting in March.
Yep.
Okay, great. Thanks for the reminder. Again, it was just me refurbishing my memory. Thank you. So I had some suggestions, and line 166 to 168, let me go down to it. And it's this one right here. And let's see if I can put this on. See if I can squeeze it on here. So my suggestion was that if you understand the strikeout and the underscore on the underline, which is word isms, but does anybody think we should do it this way, or am I overstepping boundaries here? And
I don't
not
have any
specifically-
objections with that. I might even axe out the listed at and just say that we support the network of repeaters. The Peak
Okay.
Radio network of repeaters or something like that. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter a whole lot. Section 9 is relatively legally inoperative. I mean, it's more of a feel-good section than anything else that was included.
Let's do this. Ted, the email that I just sent you, if you want to just scratch out the listed at w7pra.com and then leave the rest as change, and including the website that has the corrected address, peakradio.org. Okay.
I'm not sure I followed, but
So the club sanctions and supports the 145.130 megahertz repeater. I was suggesting that we just scratch that out and write in the network of repeaters.
I have to figure out how to edit this email that you sent me. What I can do is pretend to reply to myself.
Okay. Oh, I see what you do. Oh, you're trying to edit it. Got it. Okay.
I thought you talked to yourself already, Ted.
Pardon?
I thought you talked to yourself already, so it shouldn't be a problem.
That's the true meaning of a repeater, right?
So in truth, I'm getting a little lost in what we're keeping and what we're throwing out as far as these comments. So any reinforcement.
I
can
think
give-
it should read something like the club sanctions and supports the Peak Radio network of repeaters. I think that's pretty much all you have to say.
Ted, you and I can go through all of the changes that you made and just make sure that it's what we had described. And if there's any questions, we can go through, we can walk through it before you send out the final draft or the draft. No worries.
You know, I got a little concerned when Ron posted on the chat, but I don't have chat because I have your window.
Okay. Let's see.
It took me some effort to even find chat, Ted, so
All right. Okay. Anthony, this was more of a question for you. Again, I don't know as if we need to change anything, but
Yeah. So currently the way Ham Club Online is set up, a membership is good for 365 days. So as soon as you sign up for a membership, that is the duration of the membership. Once you've paid your dues, it starts a 365-day clock. If you renew before the end of that, it will add another 365 days to the end of that. We've had several people who have renewed multiple times, including I think one person renewed about every 3 months for several times, and I think their membership doesn't expire until 2028 or something like that. But if that clock does expire, you do have a 30-day window according and the way it's set up with Ham Club Online, that if you are within 30 days after the end of your membership, then it will activate the 365 days starting from the last 365 days, and basically continues that to as a record to say, hey, you know, your membership has been current for 5 consecutive years or whatever. If you are outside that window, then you start a new membership, and that all those counters start over.
Part of the intent of this was that if you lapse for more than 30 days, you'd have to reapply again. But since we're taking out the application requirement and just saying if you pay your dues, you're in, that becomes not so critical, right?
Yeah.
You pay your dues and you get in, and yeah.
Okay, so do we need to make any changes based on the discussion that we've had, or should we just leave it as is because it's not harming anybody?
I don't think we need any changes.
That
Okay.
looks good to me.
Right on. Line 177, and it's a kind of a hook. Whoops, I went too far.
Yeah, I would not put that in there. That's an implementation detail that I don't think
Okay.
needs to be in the bylaws. Again, if we nail ourselves down that way, then it becomes difficult to change.
Ideally, since someone's probably not reading the bylaws before they become a member, then and ideally the website that they went to find the bylaws has the here's how to apply. It's not needed to be connected here.
Exactly.
Okay, good point. Thank you.
And if we code it in there, then we have to use that URL, and we have to amend the bylaws before we can use any other URL. And then that becomes a potential problem.
All right, so we will ignore line 4, Ted, for the record. We will not make any change there. Thank you, Anna. This is another implementation detail, according to Anna's previous comment. And this is about discouraging the use of ARL net addresses. I will find them eventually, and I will send them a note. So we don't need to actually put them in the bylaws. So we're going to scratch number 5.
But this looks like it's more of a message of something I should put on the
On the website, yeah.
on the website. Yeah.
Yep. So that was the thing that I thought might be an action item for you, Ron, when you were updating the website to include some basic instructions.
Yeah.
So this would be a great thing to add to the website and not the bylaws.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Uh,
just for reference, at this point, we, according to Hemp Club Online, we still have 4 people that don't have valid email addresses. 3 are ARL.net, and one of them is blank.
I did not catch the blank one. So I sent an email out to the 3 in violation right now. I think Olin is one of them, and Dana and
Ron
Ron.
Geider.
Yep. So I sent them a note and I told them to go to their profile and change it. I haven't had any replies, so we'll see the next time I send out a note if anything's been done. Okay, it's called due diligence. Okay. Let's see here. 179. We might have already talked about this.
I think
we
we
did.
talked about the remainder of your comments.
Yep.
Already.
Okay, and then 182 notified. So what did we just an electronic message, right, Anna? Is that what we decided?
Yeah. I think that we just said that that all members are going to be notified. Period, is I think what
Right.
Ron
Yeah.
and
We
I had discussed.
Yeah, we didn't specify any particular medium.
Yeah.
Just all members shall
Okay.
be notified.
So this particular thing about the club's websites is going to go away. Then that's going to be reduced. It just says that they'll be notified.
Right.
That's what I was trying to get away from.
Yep.
Okay. So what suggestion, so membership meeting, so we need to change this sentence to something that we don't yet have written down. Just say membership will be notified, of any changes.
Yeah, membership shall be notified of any changes to the meeting date.
Ed, are you picking up on this or should I, send you a,
Attempting to now.
okay. So that's, for the record, it's the sentence starting on 180. And we're gonna remove that one and say members will be, shall be notified of any changes.
To the meeting
to
date.
To the meeting dates, right? Okay, awesome. Last but not least, my number 8, line at 185. And I think that's a similar comment. Yeah, it's the same thing. We're gonna do the shall be notified. In fact, that's actually right here. So we just get rid of this.
Get rid of this.
Hmm.
I would just say all members shall be notified of the new meeting location.
If we do that, Anna, can we just get rid of this altogether because it's already here?
B deals with location, A deals with time. They're different parameters of the meeting.
Okay. So we'll have a similar edit for line 184 to 185.
Right.
Consistent with,
But we're changing 183 to say that the board can choose the manner, so all members shall be notified of the manner and location.
any question on that, Ted, or we can, deal with the small English changes later?
Yeah, we need to deal with small English changes later because I'm not keeping up with the multiple things going on.
Okay.
185 location is what you sent me in 185 is different than what's in the bylaws.
Yeah, my apologies. So you may not have seen the underscores and the strikeouts on your email program. I mean, maybe that's why. So
on 185, it is the members shall be notified of any changes of meeting location. It's the same thing, basically the same thing as 181, 82, only it has to do with
Correct.
location.
Location and manner, because we're changing the early part of the line 183 to say that the board chooses meeting locations and manner.
And the good news, Ted, this whole meeting is recorded, so you can go back and listen to it all again.
Oh, that's so much fun. And I'm recording it as well. So,
Well, and Ted, if you would like, I can carve out some time once you get your feet under you. If you want to discuss this stuff when you're getting ready to draft it, that's fine with me. I'm happy to help.
well, let me draft it and send it out
All right.
to a small group, and then we'll hammer it out from there. How's that
Yep.
sound?
That sounds great to me.
excellent.
I'll try to do,
That's all
I'll try to
as
do
far
this.
as I'm sorry, Ted, go ahead. I doubled.
I'll try to do this as soon as possible so that stuff is as fresh in my mind as I can get.
Thank you, sir. We've gone through all of the requested changes that I received or I created. Does anybody have any other items within the bylaws that they'd like me to jump to a line to have a discussion? Or do we want to close the draft discussion of the bylaws?
I think we beat this horse.
Okay,
Sorry for making you deal with a retired lawyer.
no worries. No, I appreciate the input, Anna, and the history behind some of these decisions that were made, because I certainly didn't know about it.
Hey,
So,
this was a lot easier than going through it with an HOA, by the way.
Yeah, we tried to keep our bylaws pretty simple and straightforward.
nice. Okay. I'd like to just kind of close the draft discussion that we've had on this, and Ted's.
I lost the last part of that.
We just totally lost Paul. He's off in outer space again.
What's new?
He kicked the cord again. You don't put cords down where your feet are. License for a disaster.
Mike, can you do a presentation on cord placement maybe next time? Zip ties and, twist ties.
Ties and troughs to put it in.
There you go.
And keeping the trough separate from your data, from your power, and proper spacing, and how you want to make sure if you have a mechanical connection there that it's somehow secured and doesn't pull apart.
I mean, PDXLAN had some of the PCs with some of the best cable management I have seen in my life. And if you think, a properly run cable looks nice, you should see what they had. You don't know what's nice until you see it.
Actually, the nicest that I've seen is a telco central office. The way those guys do stuff is just amazingly neat and clean, and the way they're trained to do it. It's utterly impractical for like datacom people because you're changing everything too often to be able to, tie it up nicely like they do. But they tie everything up with like wax coated string and, clip it there, and it just looks amazingly beautiful.
You want a quick confession?
Uh-oh.
I still have a landline phone as one of my numbers, and it went dead. And I tracked it down to a little section of wire about 2 feet long outside by my front door. And when it goes dead, I go out and wiggle it, and it comes back to life. Yes, I know I have to cut it and replace it and fix it, but that's my confession for the night.
All right. Great. Thank you for your patience and your input and everything else on this. We certainly missed the window last year, but let's see if we can get it through and push it through and get it ratified by the March meeting as was intended. The one last thing I have on the agenda before we'll turn it over to Mike, if he would like to do a section tonight on education, we certainly appreciate it if he can squeeze one in. Is any new business or upcoming events, item of interest, anything anybody want to share that would be of value to the group?
I'll add a little bit here. That I've been working on my 5-band DXCC. 80 meters has been my nemesis on trying to get 100 DX or 100 DXCC entities in it. And I have probably for the last 2 months, 3 months, I haven't been home very much at all. But when I have been home, I can probably knock down 1 or 2 countries per week out there. And it's been basically early in the morning from 6 until sunrise, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, or late at night from about 10:30 to 1 o'clock, been able to continue to add to my DXCC on 80 meters. I know that there's other things going on 160, but I just haven't been spending much time up on 160, but I am slowly working my way through it, and I'm getting very close to wrapping that up. I need to get it wrapped up this season.
Well, that's excellent, Mike. And Ron, I think I just see you signing out there, or Al, one of the two. And Andy. Okay. Thank you for joining. Hope to see you again soon. For those who have to chime out. That's excellent, Mike. How many, if you don't mind me asking, if it's not too much of a jinx, how many more countries do you need to get to the Century Club?
I think 6 more. So I'm hoping within the next 2 months have that finished off. You know how
Well,
it
you know,
goes.
our section manager both travels and brings a radio with him. Maybe you could coordinate with his travel schedule.
He needs to make, Scott, I've done that before where, he just got finished doing an expedition down South Pacific. So yeah, he added to my list.
Awesome. That's great. Well, good luck on the last 6, Mike. You got Heartbreak Hill up ahead on the Boston Marathon speak. You got the last mile there.
But you know how it is, the more that you go after, the harder it gets. And actually my overall DXCC, I've probably been adding 1 new entity per month. So things have really been doing very nicely out there when I'm home.
Yep. Excellent. Well, we look forward to having a big celebration when you hit that mark. All right. Anybody else have anything, any news or upcoming events, items of interest?
I was just going to mention, and I'm not sure how this is going to work yet, and my plans are still fluid, but I am thinking about driving to Dayton this year. And if so, there is the possibility of an extra seat in the Bronco if you want to hang out with an asshole like me for 3 days getting over there. So I'll let people know as the time gets closer, but if anybody is truly interested in that, then they are more than welcome to ping me.
Good to know, Anna. And that's a hell of a road trip.
It is, but then that leaves a large back end to take things back from the flea market, which will make my wife ecstatic.
I'm sure. Okay. And the only other one that we had, which was already mentioned, which was the Salem Ham Fair coming up on the 17th. And I hope you all can attend. And if if there's any support that is needed for any of Bill's stuff, then myself or Mike or someone delegated to do that will be out with a further email or something, I suspect.
So am I to understand that the table is going to be open to general salesy stuff too?
That's my intention.
Okay. I have a repeater I would like to get rid of, so.
Okay. So you just need to let us know what the asking price is and what the minimum price you'll take.
Yep.
Or stand behind the table and help with everything else.
Yep.
Right.
You can sell it yourself.
I can probably do that, but I will want to, do the appropriate amount of trolling for stuff that I don't need.
Oh, what we did last year worked out really well. We rotated every hour, I think, Mike, right? We had some coverage on the table and it allows everybody to go out and do some shopping.
Yep. We had enough people where you need at least two people, preferably 3 people. And we were able to rotate people every hour going through there, which was really nice. And I really appreciate all the help that everybody was able to provide there. And we moved a lot of product, but we still had a lot more to go.
Yep.
Well, the good news is I've finished my kitchen, so that is no longer a time and money sink for me. So I might be able to participate a little bit more than I have in the past few months. I had intended to come to the Christmas party last month, but the night before, I came down with an 102-degree fever and decided that you guys probably didn't want any part of that, so I stayed home.
Thank you.
My kitchen remodel is in the middle.
Yeah, well, I decided to do a lot of it myself because we didn't really have the money to pay somebody to do it. So it took us almost a year to get everything into place. So I would sincerely wish for you that yours would not be likewise.
Actually, it's been in the process for about 2 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, going without a sink in the kitchen and stuff like that for a year was very, very painful.
Our contractor made a point of, when he took the original sink out, put in the new sink the next day. So
Yeah.
we were good.
We went, everything was brought down to studs in our kitchen, essentially. So everything was ripped out and, you know, done new. And that was good because when we ripped out the wall behind the sink, it appears that there had been a long time water leak dripping inside of the wall back there, and the entire wall was rotted out. So I had to actually rebuild the entire wall. It was an exterior wall, so I had to cut out one stud at a time and replace them so that I wouldn't bring the whole house down when I did it. But yeah, and of course the floorboards also got rotted out, so a lot of the floor had to get, you know, replaced and all that stuff. There was asbestos abatement because the house was built in the 50s originally, and yeah, just problems after problems that cropped up, and you know, gave us more opportunities to spend more time and money. But it turned out great. We're really happy. I have pictures if anybody's interested. No, that's fine. I'm kidding.
And tonight's presentation will be Anna's kitchen.
Yeah. There's coax in the walls and, you know, PL 259s at every countertop. No, I'm kidding.
If they're not crimp on, move along. No, okay. All right. So, Mike, I'm going to give it to you if you'd like to make a judgment call. It's up to you if you'd like to start the presentation or if you'd like to, well, how you'd like to move forward.
I'd like to punt and save it for next time.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Either would be fine, but I know we cut into 20 minutes of your normal time, and I'd hate to rush something that usually has lots of questions. So I want to thank everybody for participating tonight and adding your valuable comments. And I'll just go ahead and just about to, did anybody have anything else to add to the meeting? I guess the next item is close the meeting. So before we close, is there any other commentary?
So one thing that I believe I sent an email to the list, but it's been a while ago now. If anybody's interested, the Benton County Aries is hosting another tech class and VE session on Saturday. So it's the weekend of February 4th. And see bcares.org. And as the last several times, we are testing with Laurel, which means that if you come in to sit the test, you pay no money until you pass. And if you are upgrading, you technically pay no money, unless you're wanting to renew at the same time. But so if you or anybody you know is interested in either a new license or an upgrade, time for those, you know, techs to look at that shiny new general option and the generals to trade out for an extra model. So
nice. And since we've got a couple of folks here like Terry and Brian, did you have anything else to add? We normally have an educational portion, but we had a lot to go through this particular meeting. Any other comments from you folks?
No? Good meeting.
Yeah, nothing here.
All right.
Yeah,
okay. Great. Yeah, just wanted to make sure you guys had some airtime. All right, great. I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting. And again, thanks everybody. And Ted, we'll support you if you have any questions or issues with any of the updates. Feel free to reach out to myself or Anna. And then we can, come up with a draft and go with that.
I guess I should also mention that I will let people know when the Scout Merit Badge
Hey, how are
class
you?
has been rescheduled. And then so we can get some people on the air with that. I know that some folks here were excited to get on the air with some of the scouts, but it was canceled because of ice. I'll let you guys know when the class is rescheduled for and then what's going on at the time.
I muted you, Paul.
You don't
Thank
need
you,
to.
Anthony. I couldn't find the button fast enough. Yes.
You don't need to
And
mute
Anna, yes,
Paul.
please send out the message.
Paul uses his foot to mute himself, so he brings a new
I need a
meaning to
class on
foot
wiring.
switch. Brings a new meaning to foot switch.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night, all.